And just like that, here we are again. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you're having a good. Hope you had a good weekend. How can you not? This weather, OMG! Wow, are we spoiled or what? Even on the weekend, got out for a motorcycle ride with my friends from Oswald's Diner, and we went down to Bayfield. It was beautiful all weekend. And this time last year, or at least a couple days ago, apparently everybody was reminding that we had this much snow. We had a whole bunch of snow this time last year. And today is, if you're watching this live here in Sarnia, it's 24 degrees. It's 24 degrees. Can you believe that? And I'm really excited because, well, it's nice weather, but, I'm a motorcycle rider. So, of course, I've got other reasons as well. And able to still get out and fly the drone and take pictures and just appreciate it. But appreciate it while we can, right? Because it's not going to last forever. But even around here in Sarnia, Lambton, the winters aren't always that bad. And it's still actually quite pretty at times. Is that a fair thing to say? It's pretty. Let's go to the comments. Happy Monday, everybody. If you're watching, wherever you're watching from, please say hello in the comments so I know you're watching and where you're watching from. We've got our friend from Oshawa, Carl Freeman, 73 is my friend. For those of you who don't know, Carl is a ham radio operator, so am I, and 73s is a term of how's it going kind of thing, right? And good Monday, Danny says. Happy Monday. Danny Cochamilio, how are you, my friend? Nice to see you, or hear from you, I should say. It is a warm weekend. What's the weather like up in Oshawa, Carl? And our good friend Barry Loxton, who was on the show recently, 2 weeks ago, talking about his photography. And I'm going to be leaning on my friend Barry. That's been my new thing. I got a camera now. I got a Canon T2i. He sounds so professional. I got a Canon T2i Rebel, and I've got all these lenses that came with it. And I'm very grateful to my friend Rich, who shared that with me. So I'm by no means a professional photographer, but I'm ready to learn. And I was even on a Zoom meeting, I guess. Those are popular these days with the Sarnia Photographic Club. And I'm ready to learn, and they were very helpful. So if you're a camera person too, we should go for a walk and take pictures together and learn from each other. I've been on this kick for a few years now. Every year I say, okay, I'm going to learn something new, at least one new thing that's challenging to me, right? A few years ago, you can see it up on the wall there, I did the Dancing with the Stars for the Alzheimer's Society. Whew, that was work. And I'm glad I did it. I'm never doing it again, but I'm glad I did it. It was a lot of work and a lot of fun and quite an experience. And then, some other things over the years. Got into motorcycle again last year. Got my drone this year and my license for that. And now it's the camera. So I was thinking of skydiving. Skydiving, yes or no? My first guess is already, yeah, do it. Well, my sister's husband, one of my biggest fans, my brother-in-law, Scott, he went skydiving a few years ago with his friend, a longtime friend. And they had always said since they were younger that they would go jump out of an airplane when they had their 50th. So they did that, and my sister didn't go. And I'm like, well, that's not right. How be brother and sister do it together? So I'm thinking, we haven't decided 100%, but I'm working on that. I think that would be fun. Jennifer's not really thrilled about it. I'm not going to lie. She's not thrilled about it. What's the worst that can happen? My goodness. Anyway, challenge yourself. That's good, right? So let's tell me the things that are you doing anything to learn something new? Somebody told me the other day, they're like, I'm learning a new language. I'm like, that's really cool. What language are you learning? And I was ready to hear them say, French or Spanish or something like that. And this blew me away. And what a great idea. They said, I'm learning sign language. I was like, wow, you don't really think of that it is a language. We don't think of that one, right? So I was like, wow, challenging? She's like, oh, yeah, but I'm going to do it. So there you go. Carl says it's like 19 degrees in Oshawa, very warm. Yeah, I couldn't believe I was out for a drive earlier before the show. And hey, Devin, how's it going? Let's see out there. Welcome everybody once again here to the show. Here every Monday, and I really appreciate We're coming up in 9 years. This week is 9 years. Wow. How did that get away from me? This Wednesday, actually, November the 11th, which is also Remembrance Day, will be 9 years for the show. And no, I didn't put on any party or anything. I wasn't sure what to do. And honestly, time got away from me. And then 2 days ago, I went, wow, I forgot about that. But it's been 9 years. This is the 9th year episode, I guess, if you will, here today. So very excited for that. And thanks to all of you who have been watching for 9 years and supporting for 9 years. If you want to do something to help me out, here's what you can do. If you're watching on YouTube, share the link. If you're watching here, wherever you're watching from, because we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter right now, just share this every week. If you just share the show every week and share it with someone who maybe hasn't heard about the show, and if you know of someone who maybe you think their story should be told, they've got a positive story, they've got a positive event, I want to hear from you. Don't wait for me to reach out to you, right? So, wow, 9 years. Am I supposed to do a happy cry right now? I'm very, very blessed. I can't, here I go. I'm going off now, but, and so much thanks to my beautiful, amazing wife, Jennifer Moons. I love her so much. And believe me, it's been a lot of this, right? And now it's been a lot more of this, and it's right this way. It's really great. And I'll be the first person to tell you, like, do what you love, and there will be obstacles along the way. You will want to quit. Don't quit. It's the only way to win. If you put two people in a boxing ring and they're duking it out, the guy that doesn't quit wins every time. Now, that's hard to take those punches as we go along through our challenges and the things we want to do, but you got to take the punches and you got to put the ice on the eye and you will heal. And the biggest thing I can tell you that I learned, and I read it in a book a long time ago, and it's so true, is surround yourself with the right people, right? You become the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. That's the saying. I say you just become who you hang around the most. So find the right people to hang out with, right? It's not going to be everybody. I know it's a bummer. Sometimes you go like, well, that really sucked. And somebody you thought it would be, and right? And we can all attest to that. I know my first guest, she's nodding too. She's going, yep, I get that. So, but be like Nike and just do it, right? I wish I'd have copyrighted that one, because then I'd have a really big shoe. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody, for all the support over the 9 years, and hopefully next year, when for the 10th year, and this COVID thing, or even if COVID's still here, let's find a way we'll celebrate 10 years in a big way. We'll have a big party somehow, virtually or something, and celebrate 10 years of the show. The 200th episode of the show, if you go back, was actually a roast. We got together down at Brownstone's and they roasted me. Rob Jenkins was there. He was very nasty to me. Aaron Zimmer. Anyway, maybe we'll do another local celebrity roast. That would be a lot of fun, right? Okay. Well, speaking of celebrities here in town as well, I've got my friend Dom, or Domingos. I've always called him Dom, but Domingos J. Fernandez. Let me tell you, he's written a book. It is now available on Amazon. I've been there from the start with this journey of him writing this book. And you want to talk about obstacles up and down. I've known Dom for close to 25 years. We've been friends. I knew him before he was struck with MS that's put him in a wheelchair, and has about the movement of his left arm and mostly just his left hand. That's it. This guy pushed through. There were a lot of obstacles getting this book done, never mind the financial of what it cost him to get it done. And he just keeps going and going and going. I was downtown Sarnia just about an hour before the show here, and there he was going down the street, and I stopped and waved at him, and he nodded and he kept going. And this is a man who just keeps going and going and going. And yeah, like the Energizer Bunny, he just won't stop. And now his book is out and it's available on Amazon. And I would highly encourage you to download this, not just because you're supporting someone that most of us know around Sarnia. Proceeds from this, he's donating to the MS Society. Wow. So way to go, Dom. And I'm so proud of you. And I'm so proud of the fact that he actually asked me to, I wrote the foreword for his book. So I was very thrilled. And it's actually very cool. You go in there and you go onto Amazon and it says author Dom Fernandez and it says foreword David Burrows. And you just kind of, I go, well, I'm really proud of that. So imagine how Dom's feeling about writing this book and getting it done out there with so much support. So support him some more. Go on to Amazon. And it's My Journey with MS, A Long Road by Domingos J. Fernandez. It's only, I think, like $9.99 for Kindle, and paperback is coming out very soon. We'll be having him back here on the show. Congratulations, Tom. Once again, very proud of you, buddy. All right. Well, speaking of support, local support always needs support, right? And the United Way, no exception to that. And they're on the road to their campaign to get things going for all the services that they support here in our community. And there's a shepherd's pie or lasagna. I'm torn here. Shepherd's pie or lasagna. I probably go with the shepherd's pie. I like lasagna, but I haven't had shepherd's pie in a while. Frozen takeout dinner for United Way of Sarnia Lambton. The deep dish family or individual sizes. You can see the prices up on the screen there. We'll be sharing this after the show as well. And you can call in advance to place your orders that are going to be picked up on November the 20th, right? So you can pre-order by calling United Way. There's the phone number to call on the screen. Dave and his 5 staff at United Way do an amazing job to keep pushing through with all of this. And of course, a major sponsor of this, the Libro Credit Union, giving them credit to the credit union, right? So if you want to support them, there's the number to call on the screen. And Rebecca Brander, I think, is that extension. She'll take your registration there. So just another great way to keep supporting the community, right? Okay, something else I did want to mention before I moved on to some other things here. Multitasking, it's really hard for me, Strangway Center. We had Rebecca and Shelley from the Strangway Center here last week, and they have reopened in stages, or I should say Rebecca Warren now. Congratulations to Rebecca. Very proud of her as well. And they're opening things back up. There's a process to it all, but they've been working very, very hard down there. And if you want to find out more, you want to register to get back involved in some of the services, there's a number on the screen as well. You can call them between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. They're very excited to take your call. Don't just go down there and walk in. They understand, like maybe some people, but if you can take the time to call first, that's the best way to get set up with them. Or you can go online and register online for the many activities that they're providing and putting together virtually, and we're going to be working together more in the future as well. So the Strangway Center, I gotta pardon me, I gotta remind everybody, when you say Strangway Center, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Old people. I'll say it like that. Is that what you said, Shields? Is that what yeah, right? Okay. So elderly, whatever, right? Gray-haired guys like me, I understand. Okay. But it's and there is a lot of that there, but they also have many activities for ages, I think they said 20 plus. So that's changed over the last few years, but unfortunately they still have that label attached to them. That's why we keep having them back here to talk about all of that. They have so many activities available for ages 20 and up as well. So don't think that you got to be gray-haired like me to get involved with the Strangway Center. One of my students called me old the other day. He says, "You're old." We were talking about demographics. I said, "Well, you're right. I am compared to 20." Yeah. Anyway, so once again, there's a place to register online, and there's a phone number you can call to find out more about the Strangway Center and all of their services and what's happening with them. Okay, Jules, get that out of your system. Get that out of your system. All right, my first guest. I'm very excited, and she's sitting back there just waiting and waiting and waiting. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm so excited to have you back here because, well, it's been a little while, and I know we like at the beginning of all of this. You were great to be on with the Friday Night Music Fever with me, and we've had a lot of fun together. I was able to live stream your wedding, and we've been able to kind of build on the relationship we already have. I guess partly because of COVID, right?
Yeah, oddly enough.
Right.
Oddly enough, simply because I started to dive into the world of social media, which is, I still, I'm a rookie at best, but I'm trying.
You,
I'm trying. I'm
but
trying.
let me stop you there. You don't give yourself enough credit. Like you really haven't given yourself enough credit because you took on. Let's go back a little bit so people understand. Like a few years ago, you decided. Well, like you heard me talking about challenging yourself with something new all the time. You're one of those peeps that does that,
Sure am.
and you picked up the guitar a few years ago.
I sure did. You're never too old to learn something new, ever. So
Right.
I was listening. Your 15-minute monologue there. You did a great job. You had me for the most of it. You hit everything on the head. I think people, they talk about aging, and they think that you get older, and I don't know what that means, but I am going to keep growing until the day I'm buried.
Right.
Okay. So yes, I took up the guitar about 4 or 5 years ago.
What was it about the guitar? Like I know I sit back and I go, I think I want to do this, and I figure out reasons why. What was it about the guitar you said I want to do that?
I love music. My family is a musical family. My father's side, everybody's playing guitars and piano. So I think I come by the love for music, honestly.
Yeah.
Mother always had music going. I love to sing, but I mean, not like, you know what I mean? In the shower kind of singing in my Jeep.
Fine.
But I mean, in high school, I played the clarinet. I played a little bit of the saxophone. I did learn a little bit of guitar, but anyways, just life got, my life changed considerably. And I just needed an outlet for,
Right.
I needed an outlet, and what a great outlet I picked. I tell you, I encourage anyone to just pick up a guitar and throw your soul into it. It's amazing.
I haven't done that one yet. I know I've talked about it, but I haven't quite. Yeah.
And I'm onto scales now, just so you know.
Oh wow! Look at that.
I'm working on scales, so
I think it's the F chord that scared me.
Oh yeah, button chord. But you know what? Once you get it, you just keep at it. I couldn't even do the C chord, anyways. But yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, you're very artsy. I'd say artsy fartsy. Can I say that?
You sure can.
Artsy, because look at that. I still have it.
I'll
never get rid of it.
I'm glad you do.
Sits right there.
It's your COVID rock.
Right. And I've been to the She Shack. That's invitation only for that one, but I got invited to the She Shack, and we had some fun there too. And so moving forward now, here we are today. You're doing great. You with the music, you're playing the guitar, and you not just the guitar. You have a ukulele, and
I play the mandolin a little bit, and I play the 12-string a little bit. But
yeah, what about a banjo?
I tried the ukulele, and I know that it's just not my thing. It isn't.
No.
It isn't. I watch people play it, and I go, wow, I can do something around the campfire, but nothing that
I have a saying, Jules. It's I'm not a quitter, but I know when I'm beat.
True.
Right.
But speaking of learning something new, I with COVID being stuck in my home and being away from everybody, I decided to dabble into the social media piece, which you and I talked about a little bit.
Yep.
And so I've been having a lot of fun with that. So a complete greenhorn who knew nothing. Remember the first time I was on here? It was bad.
You did great.
Well, I thank you. But I'm talking, I knew nothing. And it's really nice. Thank you to you. See, thank you for encouraging me and helping me. And because it takes a village, and I think that sometimes people forget that we're just all children, and we're just all growing, and we're just trying to get through life. Let's help each other. Stop tearing each other down.
Yeah. And you started having fun with video editing.
Yes.
And
I really
now, and you're doing really great at that too. Honest, I'm really bad. I tell everybody like my stuff and share it, and I don't do that back, but I should. But I do watch your stuff. I do see it, and I go, wow, look at her go. And I showed Jennifer, and
Thanks.
Chicken a Garage Productions and the whole.
Oh, isn't that great? That's my favorite. I love it.
Awesome, right?
That's who I am. I'm a chicken or garage, and I play the guitar. That's it. I'm simple, Julie.
Yeah. You've done really well, and this is moved into, I guess, what we're going to talk a little bit right now is you have a Remembrance Day project on the go. Talk about that and what it looks like.
My puppy. Oh, dang it. Sorry. My
That's
poppy
okay.
was on, but
they fall off a lot.
They do. They do. The Remembrance Day Project. I don't even know really how it started, to be completely honest. I just know that since COVID hit, I work with the elderly. So let's say it started there.
Yeah. Okay.
And it turned into something bigger. I have a heart for the elderly. I have a heart for the aging. I might get emotional. I don't want to, so I can do my best to, but true empathy, for those folks that are.
Yes.
And yeah, it's what's happening in the world right now. I think is affecting them more than we really, really know.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, it's collateral damage, loneliness and all that. So anyway, so when I heard that they were not going to be putting the candlelight vigil up this year with the cadets standing guard, it broke my heart.
Take your time. Take your time.
It broke my heart. It broke my heart. I thought, oh my God, seriously? That's where we're at, So it touched me, and I don't know. I called my friends at some of my homes that I work at and asked them if they would talk to some of the veterans and see if the veterans would be willing to sit with me. And I wanted to do a monologue and talk just about them. So it's out there so people won't forget them,
Right. Yeah.
So that's where it started. And then I was.
It's important.
Sorry. What was that?
No, I'm just saying it's important. Like, it's good for you that you took this on, right? And a few years ago, like, social media was even different then too, right? Now more access to these tools. Like, look at what we're doing here, right? And more access to more people to be able to use this as a tool and say whatever my passion is or whatever I want to promote. And you just kind of pick this up because I know we've talked about this before in person about you being close to the elderly, and there is a lot to it that most of us don't realize until it's like anything else. Unless you're directly affected by it, we tend to forget about it, or it goes to the back of our minds. So this project is I'm very proud of you for doing this, because it's something that's needed to be done for a while. And you've taken the effort to do it. I've been watching some of the YouTube videos already, and I'm like, well, this is amazing. Interestingly enough, some of the people I know, but didn't know that they were involved.
Oh, wow.
Like Joe Driscoll, right?
Okay. So
love Joe.
I want to say a few things here.
Okay,
You're never
go for it.
too old to learn something new, right?
Yep.
So for those of you who are watching, I want you to watch all the videos because they're all fabulous. And if you pay attention, you will learn something. You'll learn a key element from all of those people that took time to talk to 100%. Me, that took time to fight for our country. It's amazing. Yeah. So I went into this project with the elderly piece, right? Because I have clients that are veterans. So I work with the elderly. So all of a sudden I get these young vets sitting in front of me, like Joe Driscoll. Like, to me.
Oh, he'll be thrilled that you called him young.
Well, all of them. I'm bad with names, but I spoke to 3 or 4 guys that to me looked way too young to be what I would consider a veteran.
Yes, I know what you mean.
But through this process the little snips of videos that I've done, that is 6 or 10 minutes of like 30 to 45 minutes of talking with these folks. Yeah. And wow, I learned a tremendous amount just by listening to someone talk about their life experiences. And like, even that, I'm going to get emotional. Like, I just wish people would just sit and talk to one another a little bit more,
Yeah.
So yes, it's.
Did you find it hard? I know myself as a video editor, I find it hard oftentimes, especially when there's something very emotional or something tugging on the heartstrings, to take it from that 30 minutes or an hour and put it down to 6 minutes. It's like, oh, I don't want to cut that out, but
it's hard.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot. But I mean, I'm not a professional. It's just a hobby. So I did the best I could. But I tell you, I've watched those videos over and over, and then you're cutting out the ums and the uhs and the noise in the background. But it was a great project.
Attention to detail, right?
And you were talking about technology of today. So there was a fellow that I spoke to just a few days ago, Roy Hare.
Okay.
He is a World War II veteran who was a prisoner of war. Okay. Wow. This man spent his 20th birthday in a war camp. Okay. 95 years old, cognitive, sharp as a tack, a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to sit and talk to. Okay. Yeah. And I'm sitting there talking to him, and he says to me, we were talking about technology and talking about the war and what would your advice be to someone who's thinking of joining now? And he said, and this surprised me because he said, first of all, he would have no clue because life has changed.
Yeah,
technology has changed.
Sure.
War has changed. He said it's much more brutal now than he could have ever imagined.
Really?
And I was like, wow, like I thought it, I hate to say it, but you kind of think of it as the other way around, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But he said it's, yeah. And then we watched some of my videos on his smart TV. It was great. So I sat with him. 95. He was watching YouTube on his TV. It was great. So.
Well, even look at like Joe Driscoll, right? It's, and I'm bringing him up because it's the last one that I watched, but he even said, the 9 years I spent in the military were the 9 years I treasured the most in my life. He said they were the toughest 9 years, but they're the most treasured and most appreciated. So, you get the stories out of there. And this is, it's really brought it to life, because we see that gap created, I think, a little bit of what you're trying to close in on. So we do tend to forget a little.
I think we do.
Right. And we've got to push that onto the younger generation because things are different. And
so I wanted to make a DVD. Okay. And I know it sounds so late because I'm a greenhorn. So I was like, I'm going to make a DVD and I'm going to promote it and the money can go to Legion. But then I realized I'm just going to put it on the internet because what's more important to me is that today's world is this. Yeah. And even though I'm not a huge fan, I'm sorry, I'm not. I prefer sitting and talking to people one-on-one.
No, I get it.
But this is the wave of the future. This is it. Okay.
Well, and now
how nice. Well, even when we start to reconnect and COVID lightens and all this, it's never going. I think artificial intelligence is going to be a much more useful tool. I think it's not going to go anywhere. But my point is, look, you're making me. You made me forget what I was going to say, Mr. Burrows. Where's that rock? Where is it? Where is it?
You just want to. Okay, go ahead. Ow.
Okay. Anyways, I was rambling. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Anyways, yeah. Where were we before you were?
I thought I was supposed to shut up now. I know what you're saying, though. Yeah, it's different.
It's a different world. And I just wanted to have, I think that it's smart to have a digital out there copy for the young people.
Well, I'll tell you what.
To look back someday and they'll be able, because they're not going to want to watch a DVD or an VHS or a Betamax.
But I think there is still some value in that, and we can't do it right now, obviously. But I would love to talk and show you how to make the DVD. And I think there still are those people. I think it was Swap Shop or something. I saw somebody, they were selling a VCR, so they're still out there. They're still out there.
Anyway, so we can talk DVDs, but
we can put it online and they can pay to download it. There's a way to do it. Anyway.
We'll figure something. I would like to, if that would be great, because I would like to somehow put these together. And I know that you don't have a whole lot more time with me, so I do want to say a couple other quick things.
Go for it.
Tracy Astolfi, she did a great segment as well. I encourage everybody to watch that one.
Okay.
Simply because she is a young veteran as is her husband. And she has a grandfather that was in the war, and that was her motivation to okay.
Gotcha.
And she's very real, and she's got a lot of empathy, and she's got a lot of compassion. And I think that her message spoke very clearly to the generation of today. I think everybody will take something from her segment. I really
very
do.
Good. That's the one I'll watch next.
Yes. And the Strangway, I'm so happy about the Strangway.
Right.
Yes, because I work there sometimes, so I'll be back at the Strangway as well. You talked about it being a place for old people, so I want to address that before I leave. I remember saying that to them when I went in to work. I was like, I said, we got to get rid of that stigma. So I want to tell you, I personally have done a couple field trips with the Strangway. I've been to Casa Loma. I've gone to Cowbell. We've gone to Godrich. I'm not old. Well, I guess it depends who you ask, but so there's a lot of there's yoga. I actually played chess with the fellas there for a while with the chess club. I wanted to learn how to play chess.
Look at you learning everything.
Well, my son was in the chess club, and I thought, well, I need to
go watch The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. I
think I might have watched that.
But
anyways, my point simply is the Strangway is not just for folks that
are that's right. No, we pointed that out.
It's a great place. It's a great place for community. I think that people need to maybe take a more open mind to that and have a look and see what they have to offer. Right.
Great stuff. I could do a 1 hour show with you, and maybe we should look at doing something like that again, because I missed the meeting. Wow. I know it's great. Well, one more thing before you go, and then I've got to move on to my patient, the second guest. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you.
So I know you're celebrating. I won't tell anybody the number.
Oh, I don't care. It's 48.
I'm sure it's not. Oh, see, I wasn't going to say it. I was going to say 30. I was going to say 32.
You know what?
Wow, because we're not supposed to do that.
Well, you know what? I thank you for that. And I applaud you on your 9 years.
Thanks very much.
Of your great job of what you do. You're doing a good job. I enjoy watching you. And I, like you, don't watch you all the time either. So that's good. Just once in a while.
My wife doesn't even watch the show. So it's okay.
I watch as much as I can. But please, anyone who is watching, I am on YouTube. I'm not a giant presence on YouTube, but all my videos are for the Remembrance Day Project. I successfully created a playlist and I put them in there. Yep. So I thought that might be an easier way for folks to find them. And maybe show them to your school, to your kids in your class. If you're a teacher, sit down with your grandparents. If you have a veteran, just watch them.
There it is there. Jules, thanks so much for joining me. I've got to move on, but we'll make sure everybody knows where to find those. Enjoy the rest of your day. You know, I adore you. Look forward to having you back. Jules, she does have a lot to say, and but she says it well, and now she's saying it in her videos, her new skill that she's learning in video editing, and she's done very good. Very proud of her for what she's done. YouTube, it's Jules C. It's the only one. She got this cute little Bitmoji that says "Stay tuned," so check that out. And of course, it's the Remembrance Day Project, and so great to see this happening because for many reasons needed to be done, and she took these steps forward to do it. She actually partnered up with the Legion here in Sarnia, got their support out of it as well. So great to see that finally come to light. And we'll be talking more about Remembrance Day coming up in a little bit. But right now, thanks, Jules. Right now, my patient friend, Michael John Coy of the Rotary Club of Sarnia. You're still muted, Michael. He's like, how do I do that? Down at the bottom of your screen, it'll say Cam Mike, or you just click on yourself. There you go.
Great. Dave.
Everybody does that. You know, I don't know about you. I've been in a lot of Zoom meetings and somebody starts talking. I've done it where I forget, and it's okay. Right.
The best is when you find out afterwards and nobody's heard you. You've been talking for a half hour and nobody's, and that happens.
And nobody said anything.
I know. Just like the kids have perfected this, right? They know, they nod and stuff, right? They just carry on and yeah. No, it's so, I'm so glad to be here. Really appreciate what you do in the community, and giving us a chance to talk about what's coming up. I wanted to ask you a question.
Oh, sure.
What do you know about Rotary?
What do I know about Rotary? Well, I can tell you that there's 3 Rotary clubs in Sarnia, to my understanding. And also their worldwide organization. And I believe they were involved with the cure for polio. Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I do pay attention when I come to those lunch meetings.
You got it. That's super. And I knew nothing about Rotary, not very much. About 10 years ago, a very good friend of ours, known by you and many of your people who watch and so on, is John Rosema, a great.
Oh yeah.
Sadly died. Only 2 years ago. But he said, "Come with me. I'm a member of the Rotary Club. Why don't you come with me one time? We're going to a meeting. We're having a meeting. It's Monday, 1:15, noon, and why don't you come? It's in it's one of the places in town." And I thought, okay, I'll come along. I have a great respect for John Rosema, and but I did wonder, like, what am I getting myself into? Is this like the Masons? Like, what do I wear? I asked him what I had to wear, and are there going to be secret handshakes and stuff? Is there going to be like, all that? And I was, my heart was beating. I went through the, into this ballroom. It was at the Guildwood, and
oh yeah,
there was all these people sitting there, and and I thought, what's going to happen? But these were totally. There was nothing strange about it after just a minute or two. I thought, these are people who are just interested in improving society, improving the community, and in doing something globally too, right? Where we have that opportunity. We're not starting a revolution. We're not going to, change everything overnight. We're going to do 1 or 2 things meaningfully that have an impact. And join us if you want to. So that was the kind of the message. And I said, yeah, sure, I'll sign up. I've been a member for 10 years and participate in various ways. So we raise money locally, we spend money locally, and we do some projects internationally. So we also support the Rotary International, which, as you said, has had this hugely successful campaign against the fight against polio, and at a time when we're battling a virus and we're feeling pretty down. I know there's been some good news about a vaccine. It's a question of time and how we're going to roll it out and so on. Like, Rotary has been here decades before, and we say there are, an endemic, diseases that science can help us get past if we can organize ourselves and create the will and find the resources and the money to do it. And so polio has been a great success. It's still in a couple of countries. It's nowhere near what it was, back in the day, and we're close. Yeah.
One of the things I noticed, and thanks for that background too, because I think it's important. There's a lot of clubs and organizations that we could join in a community wherever we live. But one of the things, I better be careful what I say, because you're going to be like, yeah, so Dave, why haven't you joined yet? Many have tried, let me tell you, from all different clubs. But one of the things I notice about Rotary, sometimes we join clubs and we're a member for a couple of years or a few years, and then something else comes along and we switch and we go over to this. But what I notice about Rotary is the long-term membership right here in Sarnia. Bill Hoad is one that comes to mind, and he knew me probably when I was in my mother's womb, is how I first met. That's how long I'm not even kidding, right? And I'm 51 years old, and Bill has been a lifetime member for beyond that. So, and then there's others, like that you've mentioned, and there's many still there long term. What do you think it is about Rotary that keeps them there long term instead of just a few years to do something?
Oh, really good question. For me, if I observe that, I think a couple of things. You don't turn a ship around in a minute, right? If you think we want to make a difference to children's lives in Sarnia Lambton, which some Rotarians wanted to do decades and decades ago, they started lining up the services and then the infrastructure and so on into the organization that became Pathways, for instance. And they just said, we have a long-term vision here. We talked about polio, same thing. So a number I think that kind of attracts people. So when the organization, and I'm familiar with some of the other great service organizations in Sarnia-Lambton and nationally. So, kudos to them. Everybody does something and they do something slightly differently. But I think one of the things about Rotary is that we kind of like these longer term projects, and so that attracts people who also like to do that. Now there's room for other organizations to say, look, we want to be nimble, we want to react quickly, we want to be able to put money where at a problem that we don't even know today exists. So we want to be ready to do that. Great, good for that's super. But I think Rotary's always had this appetite for longer term things that require a bit of stomach, right, to get into as well, because there's going to be ups and downs. So good observation, I think.
Well, speaking of long term, and one of the reasons we've got you here today is long term online. It's been the Rotary TV auction, but now it's the Rotary online auction. Adapting to the times. But I know last year was the first year that it went strictly online, and it seemed to be quite successful. And it starts tonight at midnight.
Tuesday at midnight.
Or Tuesday at midnight. Sorry,
10th.
yeah, right.
Yep.
So supporting local and supporting community at the same time. What a great idea.
Yeah, it's super. We had the kind of the online stuff available, and it ran parallel to the TV stuff. But the TV stuff was a hoot. I mean, we'd show up at TV Kojiko, and we'd all wear our matching blazers, and it was so old school. It was wonderful. It was great. It was an old fashioned.
I did it a couple of years ago.
Oh,
and,
right.
They were like, "Come out and do it," and I was like, "Yeah, that'd be fun." And I didn't want to leave my spot after 15 minutes. I'm like, "What do you mean I gotta go?"
I know. It was such a hoot. But we this is a totally COVID friendly way, if I can put it that way, to support local. And one of the things we've just been so grateful for is business. So we thought we're going to run the auction, but we're going to lower our expectations because we know a lot of businesses out there have had it tough. There've been some businesses that have done really well. Like if you're in the home business, anything related to home, it's been good. A lot of services hard hit. We know all about the restaurants and so on. So these are businesses then that came forward and said, no, we're gonna partner with you again this year. Some people gave a bit less, others gave more. And that's just been super. So they donate these things.
Sorry, I was just going to say that, and this is 100% donated. So that means 100% goes to Rotary. That goes towards what? Does it all stay here, or what happens?
Great. Most of it stays here, although we do remit money to Rotary International for some of those international projects that I mentioned. We'd also do some things at a what we call a district level. So all clubs, kind of interestingly, are connected to other clubs, and wherever possible, Rotary International makes sure that those groupings of clubs cross international boundaries. So we have partner clubs in Michigan. And that's super. So the Rotary Youth Exchange, for instance, has traditionally been organized at that level. So that's an international thing. But if I took a look at what has Rotary done with the money, our club particularly, I mean the local, with money that's come in through fundraisers like this. So in the past 10 years, Rotary, the club, has given away $2.2 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So about $1 million went into Pathways, partly supporting their, and if you don't, for people who are watching who don't know, I mean, Pathways offers support for children and their families, a wide range, who are, struggling to adapt all different ways to the environment. Some people need some help with hearing, or some kids have behavioral things that they need to adjust to. They've got this great pool for people with any kind of disability. So it's a whole range of services that they offer that we support, and we've helped with the pool as well. Blue Water Health, there was $1 million commitment, and then there are others. The Lambton County Music Festival. Like, I love these smaller ones as well. These are things that they need $1,000 or $2,000 to make it happen. But if they don't, it's not happening, right? So there are programs like that that we support through. This is one of our big fundraisers. And we're putting in a lot of effort, and as I said, really only made possible because so many community members have stepped forward. Yeah. Well,
and I think you'll agree with me, because I know you've been a part of the community for some time too, this community, when asked, really comes together well. Every organization I talk to says, yes, the support in Sarnia-Lambton is fantastic. So it's great to see that the support is still there for the auction. And I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised at just how well of a return comes
Oh, we
out of all
hope.
of this.
We hope. Well, you're helping us by spreading the word. Do I have time to share a few of my favorite things that are up for the auction?
Yeah, I've got a couple of minutes, and then we'll
tell me, because I don't have I can't see the time. We've been chatting.
I'll give you another. Cassandra can wait.
For sure, you're going to shut me down. I know you're good at that, but you got a show to run. But I'm gonna mention 4 or 5 things. So I just think they're so cool. So one is this fire pit. You had a picture of it by John Duff Close. Like, that's just so cool. That's an original. It says
really
Canada, home and native land on it. That's cool. That's like 300. We always going to go for $300. So both Libro and Teppermans have donated TVs. So we have 2 different TVs in the auction. I don't know if we'll be able to see it. It looks like a TV there at the bottom right. So that's these are 55-inch smart TVs. It's just super. The firefighters have stepped forward and they're donating time. This is just so cool. They're going to come and rake your leaves and whatever for 3 hours. You just got to, and they're going to show up. I think that's a super way. The riding club has got a 1-year membership up. That's very generous. That's valued at $1,850. And then there's a 3D printing at Lambton College as well. So a whole bunch of things.
It's really good to see this too, because, and we do have to move on, but here's a compliment I'll give to you is, over the years, the products or services that are provided, were, I think, a little bit to a certain demographic. And now we're seeing, like, Sarnia laser tag, for example, and we're seeing the TVs. Like, actually, I'm really torn between the fire pit and the TV now. Thanks for that. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And, refined fool and just different things that for different age groups, right? It's not all about that one demographic, which is great to see.
And I know we got to move on, but there are things for $25. There are things for $2,000. Right.
Right.
The whole range, and just take a look at it. Take a look at what's there. And if you see something that's great for Christmas or something, put in a bid, and you might put in as much as you can. And if you want to give more, even go for it, because this is all going to the community. It's
going to the right spot.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Couldn't agree more.
Great.
Michael John Coy, thank you so much for joining us, talking about Rotary Club of Sarnia. And we'll have to make this a regular thing and have somebody, maybe once a month, we should have somebody from Rotary on here to just talk about it.
Would love to.
Thanks. Yeah. Take care, Michael.
Thank you.
All right. Once again, Michael John Coy from the Rotary Sarnia and their annual, let's put it up there one more time so everybody knows, their annual now online auction. You can go to sarniarotaryauction.com or rtva.ca. Both will get you there. And as he said, over 500 items supporting local and supporting community and supporting the Rotary, who has 3 clubs here in Sarnia. Why would you want to join? Maybe that's the next time we have somebody from Rotary here to talk about why you'd want to join. Thanks again, Michael. We'll look forward to next time. All right. Well, talk about supporting in the community. Wow. Full show here today. This next guest joining me, this is really going to hit home for many people. And the community so far has been hitting a home run as far as coming out and giving their support, but there's still some more support needed. And Cassandra Taylor, or shall I say, Dr. Cassandra Taylor, is joining me here today. You were like hounding me yesterday, like you were tracking me down.
I was messaging. I have an agenda and I got to get it done, right? So
we're like, I'm up for a motorcycle ride, and I got Mary over here going, "Hey!"
I know, like he's
I'm like,
me,
"What? Can I go anywhere?" I was in Bayfield. It's all good.
Excellent. Good.
And it's important, and I think it was Bethany Thomas who reached out to me originally and said, "Hey, Dave, can we talk about this?" Let me, just before we get started on what we're talking about, here's a small world for you, right? So we start talking about this, and then of course I'm in Bayfield, and there's Mary over there, and we're all getting to know each other and everything. And then I realized this is my ex-wife. This is her cousin.
Oh, okay. Who Krista is?
Yeah, right. So
Wow.
my daughter was
Wow.
telling me that today, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, right, okay." And so it's all. So the reason I say that is that this cancer thing and things in general, that when they go wrong, they really affect an entire community.
Absolutely. It really does. It really does. Like everybody somehow is tied in and connected to this family in one way or another, either by extended family or just by the situation at hand, right? Or the
Yeah,
people that Krista has touched or Jaylin has touched in the
right.
time that she was here, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And well, there you go. Like Karen and Art from Oswald's, we were talking about it and they were sharing. I
Yeah.
was like, wow, it's all intertwined. So for those who don't know what we're talking about, the Kindness for Krista fundraiser for Krista Clark. Talk about
Yes.
the situation here.
So Krista is a good friend of mine. I met her several years ago, many years ago, actually. Her daughter and my daughter used to hang out together at school. And then my friend Lindsay Corbett, who's also doing this fundraiser with me, her daughter also kind of chummed around with Jaylin. So they were kind of like the three musketeers, right? And so we became all really, really close. The three adult girls got close, the three young girls got close. And then once we participated in the fundraising that we did, numerous fundraisers and community support for Jaylin before she passed away last year. And then, now it's unfortunately, we found out not even a year since Jaylin's passed away that unfortunately Krista herself, at 37 years old, has been diagnosed with terminal cancer herself, right? And she has 3 young boys at home that she needs to, there they are there, that she needs to, take care of, right? And so she's such a strong woman, the strongest woman I've ever met. And she has a big challenge up ahead of her. So we, Lindsay and I and my other friend Dawn, we said, you know what, we got to do something for them, right? Mm-hmm. And this is something that, the community has always been there to help support Krista and her family with Jaylin. But at this time, it's just kind of like, now it's we have to step it up because now it's Krista that's, really sick and, and is going to have 3 boys that are going to be growing up. And it's our job essentially, as family and friends and community to help her out. And that's kind of what the basis was for this fundraiser. So,
yeah. The response, like I know you and I were kind of texting back and forth there earlier, and you're like, we're still responding to the over 600 like texts and calls and messages or whatever, right? So it's been overwhelming, I guess.
It's honestly, I was just saying that, I talked to Krista last Wednesday morning and I said, let's do this. I'm going to post this and we're going to get started. She said, yep. And I did. And that was like 7:00 in the morning. By the time I got to my office to see my patients in the morning, my secretary was like, there's already people calling that they want to, my patients want to contribute to this, or let's see what we have to do, right? And by that afternoon, we had already had Christmas taken care of for the entire family. The whole plan of this initially was to say, let's get some support here so we can raise some funds and make sure they have the best Christmas possible, right?
Right.
And within halfway through that first day, we had strangers messaging and calling saying, listen, give us the Christmas list for all the boys. We want to make sure that everything that they need is taken care of. And then at that point, we said, well, you know what? I think it's time that we need to bump this up now and worry about, the family that's going to be taking these boys in, right? They're going to need financial support for these boys. These boys are going to need, education funds. There's things they're going to need, we're in COVID times. Things are different now, right? Computers for online learning, education materials. So it's taken Lindsay and Dawn and I like 4 or 5 days to go through all of the texts, all of the personal messages, all of the phone calls. We have almost over 400 people that are donating items specifically for the raffle and for the booze, the liquor baskets that we are doing. And then we also have the email for the e-transfer for the trust account for Krista as well that's set up that we'll be using for the Facebook group for the raffle as well.
Right. And I know many folks watching are going to be wondering what all those emails and pages are. you'll send those to me when they're available, and we'll make sure we get them posted and whatever other information comes along, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, we've had, like, my office looks like a gift shop and a liquor store right now, because we've had people dropping stuff off at my office, or the Hair Professionals on Murphy Road is another spot.
Okay.
And likewise, people can send a shout out to us, because then we can also, we have several people, like Mary is one of them as well, that's running around, and I just sent her an address and she goes and picks up the item for the person, right? From the person that's donating. So it's just the last couple of days we've just been collecting all the items, and then we're going to have that page set up, because, like I said, we're not going to let COVID affect us at all with this fundraiser, right? So we're setting it up online. We're going to have people selling tickets physically for the liquor baskets, but then the raffles will be all online, and we have some absolutely amazing gifts that it's just unreal, the generosity of the people in this community for these raffle prizes and auction prizes that we have for the
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And I'll put because I know Mary, she's keeping her eye on me right now. I know she is. Mary, I'm around the studio all the time, so if you need a driver, give me a shout, and I'm sure if I'm around, I can go run and pick something up too, whatever.
Yeah, we've had, actually, I reached out, one of the radio stations today reached out to me, Coyote 103, and said that we can use their vehicle whenever we want as well. He just said that to me on the phone before.
That's awesome.
I know. And I said, that's going to be great, because the thing is that a lot of the stuff I'll be storing the items, but then afterwards, when we do the draw on December 12th, we want to do it ahead of time before Christmas. So, we'll have some really good gifts, but then I need to get all that stuff out of there.
Right.
I don't
come and get the stuff.
Yeah. So anyhow, but yeah, like it's amazing. I've had, big companies in town, Remax and some others. Remax has reached out and is helping with, with funding for things. And it's trying to reach out to some of the automobile companies to try and help in terms of, her family that's taking the boys on, are going from a family of 4 to a family of 7 now, right? So these are things that we're trying to see about how we can help them with down the road, and a lot of the companies, big companies, have stepped up and are certainly helping us, and it's amazing. Yeah. So, and I'm, like I said, I've had patients of my own that don't know, that have just showed up to the office. Like, I'm working tonight at Rapids. We have a new respiratory clinic that's at Rapids for anybody that's sick, that has respiratory symptoms, that can come. And I have people here asking me, hey, we know what's going on, so how can we help, right? Yeah. So it's just phenomenal. Yeah.
Well, and with all of this too, like, I mean, you talk about the boys and the new family that's going to, accept them into their home, and there's had to have been some hard conversations along the way, with mom to family, etc. And this kind of thing has got to, it's certainly not going to, it's got to make them feel good to know that there is support out there, that there is family and friends, and those who don't even know who they are saying, hey, we're here to help, right? That can take so much burden off what's going to become realistic, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say, it's definitely overwhelming. It's overwhelming for her. It's definitely, because she has her issues, and now it's all out in the open now for everybody to know what's going on, right? But at the same time, we're turning that into a positive thing for Krista, right? And Refined Fool has stepped up as well. They have a donation box that's there with Rodney Medwick, the gentleman that did this.
I saw Rodney made the box and put it there.
I know, and he's going to have that.
I ran into him on the weekend, and I was like, "You're awesome, buddy."
Yeah, he's going to do that concert. So I made sure that Lindsay, Dawn, and I, and our spouses have our seats saved for that night, so that we're there to support it.
Oh, I didn't hear about the concert. Talk about the concert.
Yeah, it's December 12th. I think it's at 8:00 at night. Rodney had posted it. That it's going to be at Refined Fool. I think at 8. So he's got the donation box from now until then. And then and he's doing that as well, and all the proceeds are going to Krista and the family, right, to the thing. So it's so overwhelming. I can't.
Why would you want to live anywhere else, folks?
I know, that's what I'm saying. I said, when I was saying to my own family, I said, I feel like these boys have just unofficially been adopted by the entire city of Sarnia for because everybody, either has been touched in some way by cancer or a loss of a, direct, family member. And so it's just everybody is somehow touched by this, right? Whether that's they know Krista personally or not. And I feel like I'm hoping that we're doing a good job, letting people know or becoming familiar with Krista, and the wonderful, amazing woman that we love so very much. So that, they understand where she's coming from, and that hopefully we get the word out, for the fundraiser and make as much money as we can to help them. So.
Well, you're certainly on the right track. And I said it at the beginning of the show, surround yourself with the right people. It sounds like the right people have gotten involved and showing their support. So keep me updated. And we'll keep talking we'll mention this every week on the show, right up to, we'll get Rodney back on here on the show to talk about the concert. And we'll keep the momentum going with this as one of there's so many comments out here. I
know I saw my daughter actually on there, and I wanted to cry.
Right.
My sister. I'm like,
I know you can't say hi to everybody, but we can put them up on the screen, and we can let them know. Yeah, see, Mary was listening. She's holding me to my. There's Bethany who reached out.
Yeah, and, I know I posted it on Facebook and shared it everywhere today. I'm like, make sure you guys check this out and watch it, right? And just so that we can, definitely get the word out to the Facebook group. Sorry, the Facebook group won't be
go ahead.
No worries. The Facebook group is going to be called Kindness for Krista. So as soon as we have it finished, we will have it. We'll just post it and let everybody know.
Sure way.
And then, like I said, the other, like Coyote 103 and some of the other radio stations said that they'll go ahead and broadcast it on their stations as well, like on their Facebook pages. Some big companies that say, hey, we've got lots of followers, so we'll post it on our page for you as well.
Yeah, we'll make sure you send it to me when it's ready. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, for sure.
It's great to see, and there's so many people watching here that I'm looking, going, wow, and so many people that I know and others I don't, and it's just nice to see it all come together, right? So, I've got to wrap things up. Is there anything else that you didn't get in? There's final thoughts?
No, I think come down and see me at the respiratory. If anybody has any respiratory symptoms, give me something to do for the evening. So. Like I said, it's a new clinic here. If anybody's sick that just has any respiratory symptoms and they don't want to go to the emergency room, any doctors here.
How have you been dealing with the COVID in your profession?
It's interesting. It's different. I mean, we're doing a lot of the patients online, but I mean, I will still see patients that I absolutely need to in the office, because some things you have to do in person, and you take the precautions. But I mean, that's the oath and commitment I made to my patients. So. That's what I'm going to keep doing. It's not going to change for me. And like I said, it's, I made an oath to Krista as a friend, right? It's what friends do. And that's what all her friends are doing, to step up to help with her and the boys, and to make sure she knows that she is loved. And the boys.
Cassandra Taylor, thank you so much for
thank you so much for having me. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Bye now. What a great community we have here, right? Wow. And I've always said it, many others have said it, and it's like, in time of need, the community just really comes together and does what needs to be done. And this is a great example of that. So we'll be following up regularly. I'll be following up with Cassandra. And if you want to share some support, then you reach out to Cassandra. She's on Facebook. Keep an eye out for the Kindness for Krista Facebook group or page that's coming out shortly. I'm sure you'll be able to find it when it's ready. And the radio station in there stepping in to do what they can. And local, wow, just what a great story, right? So thanks, Cassandra, for sharing your time here today. And Bethany, I'm so glad that you reached out to me to put me in touch with Cassandra. It's a story that needs to be told. All right. Well, just before we go, another story that needs to be told, and we talked about it a little bit earlier today when we had my friend Jules on here, is Remembrance Day, lest we forget. This is a picture. I was out visiting my friend Bill Yurchuk, who's now the new general manager for Wellings of Corunna, and this is the display that they have when you come in the front door there. And they're certainly remembering out there as well. Now, I know a lot of people are disappointed because of COVID-19. There's not going to be a gathering. So I'm happy to say, however, Whoops, there we go. Coming up on Remembrance Day, November the 11th, I will be doing a very special live broadcast that starts about I'll start at 10:40 in the morning on Remembrance Day. And I can't give you a whole lot of details about it other than it's going to be about Remembrance Day. Okay, so I hope you'll take the time. I will be scheduling that on Facebook. It'll be available there. And the broadcast is an important one. It's very important that we remember those who did fight for what we have now, so much more than what they have. And you heard my friend Julie making her videos. I'm having a little trouble. Sorry, it's two emotional things back to back here. It's just really important that we remember, right? And this is another community thing that we need to do. So take the time to watch the broadcast. More details will be coming out on my Facebook page later tomorrow. And join in. If we can't gather together in person, we can at least gather online for a very special Remembrance Day broadcast. All right. Well, also, I want to say thank you to my friends Oswald's Diner, who are my motorcycle buddies. They ride, so do I. And drive aware, ride aware. The nice weather. We're still out there enjoying our time on two wheels. And us riders, we got to remember to keep our eyes out just as importantly as well. Thanks to Oswald's Diner for their support. And thank you to all my supporters here on Signs SWO, Active Ears, Hughes Intelligence Canada, Joe's Discount Tire, of course, Oswald's, Philly Cheese Jakes. And I've got to say shout out to my son from J-Man's Affordable iPhone Repair. And of course, I got to say thanks to all of you, because if I didn't have an audience, I'd have nothing to do. This is 9 years of celebrating the show. I didn't really put on a big party or anything, but this is the 9th year episode. Does that make sense? It's been 9 years this week for the show, and I'm very grateful to all of you, my wife, my family, and everyone who supported me through 9 years. For the Big 10, I promise we're going to have some kind of a party, whether it's online or whatever. But that's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here in the show. Bye for now.